best photography. Art.
Well, welcome to the Dream Labs live with Dr. Contrast here. I just thought I'd take a quick minute here and hope all is well with you guys. And I'm going to go back and in the history of some of the streams we've done in the past. And for those who've been with me for a little while, we started a series about maybe a month and a half or two ago on the Manticore series. And we did a trilogy of things. In fact, we'll finish the trilogy today. That's why I'm going to, part of the program, it's going to be a dropship variation off of what we did. The first one we did was an attack vehicle, like a fighter. And the whole thing was based on this whole dragonfly concept of having a quadra-wing system, a very, very articulated, very massive ship to 20 to 30 meters, 35 meters in length, and a pretty bold-looking machine. So what you see here is the second part of the trilogy, where I'll show you the attack version near the end of the program. But this is the attack version we did, but in a landed situation in the hangar area. And again, you can notice the size of the scale of this thing is really pretty prominent in terms of here's human scale, and what we're looking at as far as the overall mass of this machine. And then again, the whole concept behind this was that the quadra-wing system would begin to move in flight and begin to change character and almost simulate what dragonfly systems are looking at and how they begin, what their flight pattern looks like. These end caps would move and wing and articulate in flight. These are also these blades, this upper quadra-wing would do the same thing. So I thought we'd just take a look at the history of this thing and get into the Banu language graphic and so forth for the actual machine itself. This is a second edition that we started, and now I've got a line drawing set. And now that you see what the history of this machine is, so we've got a line drawing set for what are referred to as a dropship. And if you notice, what's missing is the dragonfly system. We pulled away from let me bring this back in there for a minute here. We pulled away from the quadra-wing upper, and we removed this attack version behind this tail section, and removed it in addition to the wings to kind of make room for a dropship system. This could be like a supplies ship of some sort to take it to certain areas within the universe, etc. And this is what I'm going to work on today. I just wanted to spend a little bit of time today just kind of staining this in and getting a good start at it. Maybe get this guy put together and then finish up tomorrow's stream with a little bit of this elevation study down below, and then put a little bit of background sky tone or something into it so we can see what that all begins to look like. So let me just kind of start out with just a little bit of a marker wash in this guy to get it started, and just do a little bit of value study in here, and we'll get it started. Just kind of run this through here. Let's get this up and just pull this in. Get a wash started here. Get the canopy area, get that set up here. Just kind of blocking it in very quickly here. Just to get it started, tone it in. Not too much. And get away from the light source. So you're going to pull the light source from the upper left-hand side of the composition here. So we'll have a lot of variation in theme here as it goes down from light to dark. So up on top, it's going to get a little bit of reflective piece in here. Run that through just a bit. Sketch in with a marker. Let's stain this whole surface in here first. Get a good undertone working with it. We'll just block it in very, very rapidly here. We'll change character as we go here. Not going to be all the same tone, but we'll just get a nice, simple, neutral military gray in here just to get it started. And I think I'm going to change gears in the storage area too. Back and through here, a little bit of variation on the theme here. Just kind of get this all plugged in. And we'll go from there. Just a nice, simple, very simple brush of getting these surfaces placed in position. Again, starting out very light. And most of you have followed me in the past, I always like to work in terms of light to dark. Just build the shapes as we go. Stain it in. A little double time here to get this guy to read. Walking through some of the upper. Get this blocking a little bit of reflected light in here. There we go. There it is. Then through here and run that right across. A little bit of variation here on that theme. That's going to put this in place. It's auxiliary wing system. Very quick, just real quick blush at getting the surfaces established. Then we'll start putting some detail in this thing, changing the values where we need to. little surface here. Let's kind of switch gears, a little bit of tone in this thing now. Just to kind of, let's go back and through it. Just a little more tone in this body side here. And then again, I'm working with a number 1 cool gray here with Copic marker on just simple bond paper. And let's kind of build some shapes here. There's the first pass at it. Let's get a little bit of a change of pace here. Let's kind of put some of these wing gloves in place. There's A. Get that to read. Bring it over here. Pardon me as I move around here quite a bit. Hey, how you doing, Shadow? Good to have you on board here, Doctor. Thank you. Looks like one of those lights went out finally. Hey, I'll bring the other. No, the other one's good. The light's good. Let me just rotate this around a little bit. There it is. Just bit by bit, we'll just kind of put some pieces together here. Let's get this little separation in place here as well. Which you'll notice in this composition in just a moment, I'll just talk about it here. A lot of variation and change in pace here. Quite a bit little study and just moving surfaces around. Especially in this view, let's for a moment here. In this view, they're very extreme. Okay, bit of a shadow, no worries. Yeah, it's a bit of shadow. I don't know where it's coming from. Huh? Because I've got that thing up to as much intensity as we can get it to here. Let me just take a second here. Try to get this thing up to speed here a little bit more. Well, it kind of dulls it up. How's that? Any better? Shadow, I just didn't notice that, but that's the case here. Let's go back and let's add a little bit of tone to this thing. Now let's get some texture change in here. A little bit of a wing glove. Let's kind of get this in place here. Yeah, just a nice simple value study to complement the trilogy we've already been working on here. As I said, we've done a lot of extensive work. A lot of the input for this vehicle came in from a lot of audience participation when we were doing this thing with Shadow. Really had a great time putting it all together with some feedback and input. Really great. That's better. A little bit of surface change in here, helpful. A little more modulation in this thing now. You won't see much of it on the other side. Notice because that wing really kind of drips off, as does the other side as well. So so much better. It just kind of drops off a little bit. So we'll change pace here. The view will change just a touch. I'm just going to start laying in some very simple little surface changes here to kind of get this thing to read for us. That little recess will be away from the light source, so I'll go a little lighter, darker tint rather. This underwing, let's get that all locked up. Just staining it in. Again, just little by little. Now that thing's kind of come together. Now let's put a little bit of this recess in place. A little bit of the offset. And what happens here too is really interesting. What begins to happen here is a case of laying in some of the foundation pieces and little by little coming back in and really begin to detail this thing with a lot of pencil work and a lot of ballpoint pen and so forth to kind of get it to run for us here. So let me just kind of get this little engine nacelle into place here. Nacelle lower. Get this little upper piece done. That's that. Now a little bit of tone in through here. A little bit of a graphic change and get some reflection in this thing. Gonna drop off the body side a little bit. Get a more shadow to work here. And we'll just kind of slow that down just a touch here. Add a little more contrast in this thing. Just keep building the surfaces. Block it in first, then begin to detail it as we go. That little fan piece there. Let's get back in through here. Just change this just a touch. A little bit of a leading edge strike on this thing. Change this just a bit. And again, let's put this in the shadow of this engine nacelle piece. Just got to drop it in just a touch here. And begin to separate the shapes that we've got. A bit of shadow down it here. That nacelle will work. Now we'll fine tune this just a bit here. Pardon me for moving this pad around a bit. Let's see. I will wrap this up. Yeah, that's going to be a print. Absolutely. AJ and our Shadow will start looking at this thing from the point of view of getting the trilogy up here. All three of them. Let's just get the little offset in the engine piece here first. We'll get that line to kind of come through for us just a bit. Same with this. Let's roll this off over to one side here. Let's get this in place. Engine offset here. Using the Sharpie pen here just a bit, get a little more definition in this thing. There's a little canard offset here. Just kind of lay in the cockpit. Let's see what's happening here. Let's get this filled in first and move it right down the line here. Hey, Chip, how you doing? Hey, you know that thing? Yeah, so do I. We're trying to wrap up the trilogy here, Chip. Good to have me on board here. I'm just trying to put together the last little piece of information on this whole trilogy of the Manticore. In this case, it's a dropship study. We just had a line drawing piece of architecture put together for it. And kind of nice to just come back in and give it a nice little system where I'm just kind of standing in a nice process here to get this guy to really read for us here. So while I'm at it, let's get kind of some of the dark shadow areas here, some of the intake areas all put together. Drop these out. And the purpose of today's stream is to get this guy blocked in, and we'll hopefully finish it up tomorrow with this lower elevation piece. I just want to do a good job of getting this whole upper piece in place first, and coming back in and doing a nice job of getting it all put together. It's kind of a little bit of a break in this thing. Let's put a little more tone in this, on that shadow side of that engine nacelle. A bit of shadow into here. Same thing into here. Just blocking in the shapes. There we are. Engine nacelle, we get a little more detail in this. Again, I'm just really not worried about just getting some of these surfaces to read in for us, locking it in, and going from there. Let's kind of put a tone in here so we know where the cockpit is. Let's get this in place here just for a second. Pardon me as I move it around here again. Put a simple stain in here first. Notice, because of the view change, we're not going to see an awful lot of the far side of the vehicle or some of the nose graphics that we've had in the other two that we were working with. Basically because, again, the view is much more dramatic. We've turned the corner on this thing. we've added some more detail. All of a sudden, it's starting to come together. What do you think, gang? Starts making sense. Hey, Everett, how you doing, man? Good to have you on board again. Good to see you. Excellent. Here we are. Let's go back in and let's get some of this information here put together. It's going to get these nacelles in place. Let's get this upper shroud in place. Nice simple grayscale here. Well, it's good to have you on board, Ibrat. Nice to see you again. Hope all is well with you. And then let's get a little more shadow in this wing here. Let's get this down. Create a little more tone, a little more pressure to get that light source to work for us here. Just gonna bring that into play. There we are. Let's get this all set. And again, shadow underneath the wing surface here. Shadow there. Then more shadow to drop inside here. I'm going to take that a little bit deeper too so we know where we are. Underneath. Shadow. Let's go back and hit that thing just one more time here. Let's go back and get that number 4 gray up in here and get that upper piece in place. Insert piece here. A little stealth. System in the exhaust. I'm going to take that right down here. A lot more tone. Really drop this thing out. That's better. Shadow underneath here. And let's go one more time here. Let's get this. A little bit of a different paint scheme on this guy, being dropship related. A little more glorified. Shadow, plus the upper nacelle that rolls across the corner. Again, through here, so more impact in this offset here. Shadow over that hood. And more shadow inside here where that drop off is. And what do you think, gang? Starting to read a little bit for you. Coming together little by little. We're just going to build on this thing and see if we can get the thing at tone that baby. Yeah, here we go. So this is it. A little bit of an offset here. More shadow through here. And again, a little more shadow down through here where that gun system is. There we are. Let's put a bit of shadow back in through here where that offset's going to be. There we go. Yeah, we're going to put some little release valves up on top here. These are where the modular lockups are, the shape itself. So there's a start there. Also want to come back in and add a little bit of a designation here. Add a little bit of color to this thing. And there we go. Just kind of get it started here. Now I'm going to come back in with that number 1 gray, with number 2, and just come right across the top of this thing with a nice simple wash on this upper surface. First of all, let's get these guys in play here. A little more modulation of some of the panels up on the wing surface here. Probably going to rotate this pad again. Get this all set to go. Wash that in. Again, up on top here, a little more tone up on the front end of this guy, kind of away from the light source. Tone that upper engine nacelle in just a little bit, so we start to fill in some of the blanks here. We can start detailing it as we go. Some more tone back in there. Let's get this engine cell to work a little bit for us. Some of that to work. Let's get down to number 5 gray here. Let's see what we've got here. 6. Yeah, let's bring this down here just a tad. Let's get this down here, just a little more effective light. Here it is. There it is there. Let's get this guy. A little bit more detail. There we go. Starting to get some interesting feedback now in this thing. A little contour change here. A little contour change into here. Again, just enough back. And now I'm going to start laying that whole storage system in here just for what it's worth here, gang. So let's lay this thing. Let's see. That eyebrow looking nice. You got the tone down really well. Would you be able to do a metal or any kind of texture on the ship with markers, or does that? Yeah, that works. The metal textures do work with that eyebrow. That should work out pretty well. Once we get it all schemed in here, as far as the tones are concerned, I think we should be in pretty good shape. Let me just kind of highlight something here as we go, so we don't lose a distinctive line here. That's that to that. Into this, and we'll drop this out just a bit. As I come back into this, you'll see a lot more detail as far as drawing is concerned. I'm just blocking in form now, guy, to get this trilogy part done with this dropship. Just enough information here to kind of give us some information to work with here. There's a little canard out front. Again, a little bit of a design line in through here. I'm spending a lot of time here just trying to really work out what's taking place up front in that capsule area here, so we get the wing system to work with and all that. Hey, Nemo, how are you, man? Good to see you. Nice. Working on the ship. Yeah, trying to get this last piece in place here, Nemo. I'm just thinking about you today. I'm really glad all is well. How you doing? Good, I hope. Let's get that little detail in place here. We're going to see a little bit of a kick up here. That gun system goes underneath there, so we won't see much of that. It's going to disappear underneath that form right there. So let's get that little glove area in. Canard on that side. So we're just about home on some of these surfaces. Let's kind of get this guy. Add more definition here, and a bit more here. Going to bring these all together. And that design line coming up here, just enough, there it is, enough kick. So basically those surfaces are starting to come together nicely up on top there. Just looking at the whole idea here of changing from the actual attack vehicle into this dropship system here. Let's see if we can get some of this upper piece in place here. Let's see what happens here. Let's kind of begin to fill in the blanks here. State it in first. Get the basic surfaces in place. And again, gang, don't let this fool you. This is just blocking in shape. Trying to get it to start here. That's basically the overall umbrella here. Let's get that down one more tone here, where the shadow's going to drop it, which is right about there. That's the lower portion of the hexagon. By the way, too, Nemo, that was pretty cool. Really nice how it all comes together. Second weekend of vacation and one more to go, so not so bad. Hey, not good. Good for you on vacation. Outstanding, my man. Good for you. So this is a hexagonal storage system, Nemo, that you were talking about some time ago. We're putting this whole thing together. You went right back into your input here, and it was really helpful. So great stuff. Let me turn this upside down. Get a little more tone in this thing. I'm going to finesse it here. There it is in shadow. We'll come back into detail the daylights out of this thing. Now let's get that upper in place here. We'll scrub it in. Separate that from the wing structure. Get this module to change here. Run that across. A little bit of a highlight in there. Yeah, super. Come right up here and here. Let's see if I can get a little more juice in some of these guys here. Nope, that's not going to do it here. Alrighty, let's see if we can kind of roll here. And another one as we go. Let's get this guy tuned in here. There you go, a little bit darker tone. What do you think, gang? Coming along all right? Okay. So let's get a little bit of this tone here, the separation piece. And again. Let's see if we can get that number 4 gray out here. Put a little more tone in this thing. So we can see where that break is. That's better. What do you think, eh? Coming along all right? Starting to read okay? There we are. Let's see. Maybe the guys who drop out ride me. Chip 7 wants more missiles. Oh, all right. We can kind of load them in. Maybe they're all missile bays in here for you, Chip. How's that? Let's kind of do a little bit of a change of pace here. Let's get this guy to come downstream just a bit here. I'm going to go a little darker with these little interchanges. And once I get more drawing definition in this thing, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. Meaning I'll start to pick up a lot more of the highlight lines, some of the contour lines, and just basic drawing skills that we've always talked about from start to finish. How we begin to put this whole thing together. We got a little bit of cockpit change, a little bit of scruff back in there. Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's go back in here and get that number 8 grade and really kind of crank in there and get that cockpit to kind of drop right out for us. That's better. There we are. More surface change up front, kind of distinctively get that shadow to really work for us up front there inside this little canard. There you are. That's got more guts to it. That's starting to read pretty nicely. Just enough reflected light up on that upper canopy piece to get it done. Nice. So here we are. Let's go back and get a little bit of shadow in through here. Bit of a tail drop in a little recess area back in the tail section where we get to those really kind of interesting looking gun systems. Put this back into a shadow drop here, so this kind of is just like a recess area back in through here that does that into the shadow side of it, and then the highlight side of it, which would kind of go back to paper. So we'll let that go as about a number 2 or 3 gray over here. And a highlight, and just follow that right through. Let's see which one of those 3s was it. Yeah, that was not it. This might be the good one here. Yeah. Bit of reflected light on the side of those areas here. Same thing, a little side job here. It's coming off of that engine nacelle. It's going to flatten it out just a bit here. There it is. It's going to take this quilted pattern, more impact to it. And again, get that drop in the wing. Now let's get a little more animation in this thing, a little more sparkle in this guy, just a touch here, kind of take it away from being so common in terms of the. Let me pull back a little bit there, guys. What do you think, guys? Is this reading all right? You catching on all right here? Pretty cool, I think. I hope. Let's go back in through here, get a little more tone in this. Kind of fill in the blanks. There we are. See, the nice thing about this, I think, from an execution point of view or delivery point of view is once you get the basic surfaces in, you can start to animate a little bit and do a little more flamboyant stuff to work with here. So let's kind of just keep going with this guy. Get that patchwork quilt just a bit here. The recess area there and there. And just get this all to kind of functionally work here together for us. There it is. More secondary line in here. A bit of a tone change in the engine nacelle. You notice too, I kind of switched gears on the actual engines themselves because in the original concept, they had them running horizontal, for example. You look at the nacelle systems here in this piece, those engines are running right straight through, and so is that. But I think the thing about this one, this is overhead, and then I went more to a vertical, kind of a stack system where it was kind of an interesting way to approach the power. Looks so different than the attack variant from this view. Yeah, it does. It's a much different approach to the whole salesmanship here, Shadow. There's no question about that. So let me go back in there just for add a little bit of detail here, a bit of drawing finesse. First of all, I'm going to do a better job of putting some shadow down in this thing here, away from the light source. That's better. Little touches like that. Get this thing to drop out just enough. As I said earlier, too, I spent a lot more time once the shapes are in place to really start to generate more of a drawing detail inside these forms to really get them to read. This is just a build up here, gang. There's a lot more to go yet. So just building it up. And we'll get a lot more definition as we go here when we're passing these areas here. More shadow drop underneath that one piece into that little stealth shroud or in the engine nacelle itself. Kind of highlight that just a little bit more. And we'll come right down the line with a nice simple spine here. How's this? Get that right through the entire vehicle. This will be the split line, the separation for supply drop or whatever's going to take place with the actual machine itself. A little bit of detail here, and a little bit of drop detail there. Right down that spine, and just to make sure that kind of enunciates itself here, let's do this. Let's get this guy to read here. Brake module. Brake. All right, gang, I need your help. What do you think? Is this coming together all right? Starting to read? Would be neat to see the engine articulate just the vanes on it. Yeah, it would be cool. That would definitely be very cool. So let me go back in and reinforce some of this. Here, just a touch. More color. There we are. So just kind of indicating where we are here. Let's put a little bit of a flight line color in this guy. Right about there. Now let's get this gun turret system all put together here. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to just show you a little bit of an intake piece here that we're dealing with. Let's get into some of the aspects we were talking about earlier, getting some of this drawing definition back in. Once you start to draw over the top of these forms, it really is amazing how it all begins to clarify itself. Just keeping it nice and simple. Let me turn this upside down for a moment here. Sorry, gang. And we'll drop that. Oop, sorry about that. Let's get this one thing. There it is. Just a bit more definition in here. Let's get that same little disc operation in here, a little bit of color to it, a little bit of a tone change. There we are. Now we're starting to put some pieces together here again. What do you think? I mean, overall, I think the architecture is starting to come along pretty nicely. The character is starting to get there, but I think the whole idea here is to get the philosophy to change and to make it look like it's more of a drop ship, less attack looking, much more modular. Again, the scale remained the same, but really interesting how, again, just interesting how it all comes together here. So let's kind of tone this tail section in a little bit here and give ourselves some more real estate to work with here. First of all, I want to drop the shadow down here where this lower nacelle area is here. That helps. Can I get that all squared away? There it is there. A little bit of follow through. Like that. And I'll come back in and detail this area a lot more thoroughly, and especially this cut line here, this separation here as we go back to it. And come back in, and while I'm at it here, I just want to add some other things here too as well. Just going to go back in through here and just put some of this ventilation system in here. While I'm at it, I think this can be a little stronger. We put the separation in here as a definite break point. This would all be common. This would all be common, and this would change as far as the modules are concerned as we go here. Very different. Yeah, it is. Again, it all comes back. I'll show you at the end of the program here. It all comes back to maintaining most of the architecture up front here, Shadow, and then revising everything from there rear to make it come. There's a lot of carryover stuff, obviously, wings and engines and the like, but the actual drop ship or cargo piece, in this case, supply ship, changes dramatically. So here we go. Let's go back and get this guy to separate here just a bit. Pardon me as I turn this upside down. That's better. That tells us where that fracture point is. There we are. That tells a story here. Common, in most cases, common trip, etc., supplies, whatever might be taking place in the actual journey itself. And then this becomes common as well. More of an attack mode piece. Let's kind of do this. Get some relationship here between the two. More drawing definition here. And there it is. Let's go back in and just brush in some basic surface to get it started here. There's this number uno. There it is. Number one. Just going to get this started here. Pardon me. Pardon my hands here, guys. I'm moving around. It's a pretty big sketch here, so pardon me for moving around quite a bit here. I'm just going to bleach in the rest of these surfaces. Going to get another good number one in case here. Let's see what we've got. Just kind of brush this in real quickly here, then start to detail it. There's basic surface. I just want to get that in place. And again, we'll change some of the characters we go along the way here. Let's get this number 4 gray to get this little canard piece put in place. And again here, you'll block just a bit of it because of the gun location. But just a tad of it there, and that's all we'll see. Let's come along this leading edge. And again, this leading edge. Got a good number 3 gray in here. Just got to tone this thing away from the light source just a bit. A little further with the shadow surface on this guy. Yeah, it's kind of coming nicely here, I think, hopefully. Hope you're enjoying this as much as I'm enjoying pulling it off, I hope. Shadow. Into shadow. We'll go a little deeper with that last little canard tail piece here, just a little bit more emphasize on it. Let's see, where's my 5? Here it is. Get this fiber to work here for us. Separate this gun system and get that little canard to work here for us. And let me stop there just for a moment. A little bit of evaluation. What do you think here, gang? Is this reading all right? Coming together okay? Let's see. Has the multi-folding doors? Yeah, multi-folding. Absolutely correct. That's exactly what the precision is all about here. No question there. Shadow. Let's go back into here just for a second. Add a little more tone up on top here. A little more reflected light across that upper. Figure it being so static. That helps. Now you're a lot more animated with some of the shapes. Really helps. Once you block it in, it really takes a big, huge difference when you start to get the basic forms down. Once you've treated them like that, they can get a lot more animated with what's being told within the storyline here. So much more unique in terms of putting it all together. I think that's coming along. I think it's reading rather nicely. What do you think, Game? Just the overall consensus. So far, so good. Is the bottom loading or rear loading, or do the sides open up like the caterpillar? It opens up. For example, Nemo, it opens up the caterpillar. This whole module removes itself, and each door is beginning to just pop open, upper and lower. And I've got a little detail. I think I did a couple of months ago, a little detail of some systems in between. For example, that clamshell. Look at this little piece down here. This whole piece. That goes low, that goes high, and that slides back, or that can be ray neutral, or open up with it top or bottom. So that was a basic intent there, quite frankly. Let me do something here just for what it's worth. Now that I've got some pretty good some shapes in place here, let's go back and do this. A little bit more detail. And the gun system here. Now I'm going to try something here, just real quick. I'm a little leery of doing this because I don't want to get into the case where I was going to muddy up the waters here. But this needs a little more shadow definition. So with a number 8 gray, need to really pull this off. That's a 6. Looking for a 5. There it is. A little bolder underneath this wing surface. It's a little weak. Let's get a little more tone in there. Same a couple of spots. I really want to pick it up here. Just kind of drop down. That helps. Really get that shadow to drop inside there. Much better. And the same with this. inside this engine nacelle. Just a little bit more shadow drop. And down below, a little bolder as well. Let's push it just. That's going to help enormously. So I come back in and with a drawing definition. It's going to help enormously to get this guy to put together here. There it is. Again, same with this up front. Let's get some of this stuff to put together here. Some of these guys. And now we can start adding. I think it'd be safe enough to start adding a little bit of drawing definition in this without compromising too much of the form itself. Let's see if we get the right kind of combination here. There we are. Let's come back and start adding some drawing definition. See what happens. See what I mean about just adding a little bit some line work and definition and how it changes the entire character. We detailed that quite a look. Yeah, we did quite a bit. So let's go back in again here. See what I was referring to there? How drawing definition really does the job no matter what you're doing illustration-wise. I mean, I'm a firm believer that the drawing definition is a game saver. Always has been and always will be. I want to be careful not to smudge this. Bring a little bit of definition here as we go. Again, look at the drawing definition. I'll begin to describe those planes. Is that making sense, gang? Line weight and tone, what makes it jump up? Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. That little book I'm putting together, a lot more information and getting this guy to really read in terms of how to work with line weight, shape, and surface, and like how to detail something out. Makes an enormous difference. I'm going to add something here too, just to get some flight dynamics in this guy. A little bit more color here. That's going to be good there. A little bit of drawing definition back into this guy, just for what it's worth. And that's a continuation of that shape coming right through that little module. Goes right into this very accentuated gun pod tower at the rear end of this machine. It's all automatic. A little drawing definition in there. The drawing definition in there. Gonna get that skateboard to look at it here. That's interesting. Gonna go back and get this drawing in through here. I'm going to concentrate today on getting this nice big full perspective study hammered away. I'm going to put a bit of shadow on this guy, so pardon as I go here, guys. More line weight change back in there. I don't know. What do you think? Is that coming together all right? There we are. That's coming together pretty nicely, I think. Now, gang, what do you think? I think detailing the doors would help. Oh, yeah, the doors. Oh, yeah, that's, yeah. I'm coming to that next here. Excuse me, Shadow. Boy, pardon me. Coming right down the line here with these guys now. What do you think, Shadow? You buying that? So far, so good. Let's show a little bit of separation here just for a second. It's meticulous, and it's a little bit time consuming, but it's worth the effort, believe me. Saves a whole lot of definition. Getting those forms to read nicely. Now let's break it here. Now, underneath, another part in the flat portion. Now underneath. And there you go. What do you think? Oops, pardon me here. A little bit of a double skip. What do you think, gang? Is that looking good or what? Coming along? I'm in one as well. Thanks, Chip. Got a meeting. Going to quiet for a while. No problem, Chip. Thanks very much for hanging on here. Let's do one little thing here. Just gotta get this guy. Just getting structurally set here. Pardon me as I move around just a bit. And we'll just take a little bit of time here to do the following here. Let's kind of get this guy put together with this. Let's come back in. A little bit of highlight here. Let's go right across here and get some highlight on this guy. From the light source. There to there. There to there. Drawing definition, everything. It is everything. Pardon me as I crank this thing up just a bit. A little bit of highlight in there. come back and wrap up that cockpit at another time here. Just want to get some highlight in here, some drawing definition back into it. Makes a huge difference, gang. I mean, look at the definition in that cargo bay area that really begin. Just, let's see, Nemo, looks good. Just wondering if you consider doing a quarter cutaway image of one of those variants. Maybe the one with the living space. Yeah, that could be kind of cool. Nemo, that might be a neat little trick to pull off here. Absolutely, very good idea. Let me just do this, a bit of antenna system here to kind of change the character of this guy just a bit here. Make it a little spookier. There you go. Let's put a little bit of highlight in here. Just a touch more, just a bit. Reverse it for some reflected light. And again, let's put a bit of drawing definition inside this nacelle here. Now again, pardon me for saying this over and over again, but I hope you agree with me that the drawing definition is everything. Once you start to put this guy, let's put this in the full screen here. What do you think, gang? It's just about home. Oh man, that would be, yeah, that's a great idea. Very much so. Nemo, cool, good thinking. Let's put a little bit of drawing definition back in through here too. There are these rudders. Airlines, rather. And we'll add a little bit of drawing definition back into this thing too. Now, I'm going to stop right there just for a moment here. I'm going to just stop and just describe something here. I went this far with this guy, and wow, the depth of those doors. Yeah, it's starting to really come together now. I mean, the doors, part of the whole design process here is to get these guys to really, oops, pardon me as I bring it to the screen here, pardon me. Get this guy lined up here. Let's bring this into reality here. So there's the overhead 3/4. So what I'm going to do here now is kind of put this to rest just for a moment and go back and show you the genealogy here where we are. And let me just do this. Pardon me. Get this guy put back together here very briefly. So there it is. What I'm going to do now is wrap it up here for the day and take some time tomorrow to go through the following process here. Let me just kind of follow through with this highlight here. There it is. It comes right through there. And again, just a little bit of highlight right through here. All right, so there we are. There's the actual Manticore dropship system, and I'm looking at the possibility now of coming back in. I notice I've got a little bit of screen line here, there, and there. A little bit of pastel or sky tone behind this thing, and to give it more of the character that we've got to the other two. This will be the trilogy piece. So it'll be interesting. So tomorrow's stream, I'm going to come back in and detail the elevation here down below, make it a combination piece in flight and then landed with a little bit of human scale to show it all put together. And let's go back here just for a moment here. Before I go any further, what do you think, gang? Is this making sense? Does it read pretty well? I mean, it looks pretty solid on the screen. I just want to get from your point of view. Check Discord, suggestions for what I mean with cutaway. Very cool. I will do that. Interesting. I will definitely take a look at that. No question, Nemo. But again, overall, what do you think about the overall? I mean, is this making sense? Does it read well? Does it kind of follow the pattern what we've established with this whole Manticore process of being an attack vehicle first, and then in the flight attack mode, and then the landed surface, and now this overhead? Thrilled to see one. All right. And then this dropship process. I mean, again, this engine, wings, canopy, rear section, this section in the center changes. I can modulate and begin to change. Great, reminds me a bit of the Dune carry. Yeah, thank you. Very good. So far so good here, gang. We'll kind of carry on tomorrow with tomorrow's stream. We'll wrap this thing up a little bit here, but still different. Looks cool. Thanks very much, Demo. Appreciate it. And it's really good to have you on board again. I missed you, but since you've been on vacation, I hope you had a great time and able to relax a little bit. So good to have you on board, as well as the Shadow, and also Chip, you as well. So big help here, gang. Let me do this. Let's go back and look at this is phase 3. We're going to wrap up tomorrow the trilogy. Here was a second piece we did. Notice the family relationship. So I can put these together side by side. See a little bit of the family relationship, one to the other. Oops, not like that. You're not. So let's put this into place and just kind of sneak this in. Let's do. We gotta get this guy to do this. Maybe no, it's not going to work. So anyhow, there's the third part of the trilogy of the dropship. Here's the landed version of the full Dragonfly or Manticore in attack mode. This is what it looks like in the landed situation. And notice how we've changed, for example, the dihedral wings up on top, and then the tail section that reacts like that appears to be very much like the Dragonfly concept we started with, that everybody put together. And then again, the drop wing system here, pretty brutal scale here. And then last but not least, here was the attack version of it right there. So pretty solid relationship, 1, 2, 3. Hopefully that begins to work for us here, gang. And interesting how, again, first part of the trilogy, this is all part of the input from the audience of about over a month's work and so forth, even more than that. They did a great job dictating what they wanted to see, so we brought this to that level. And once we had that down, we thought it was very, very, very important to go into a system where we actually show a landed variation here. And then this is what adding some architecture around it. And this sky system here, it'll be part of the battle plan tomorrow when we begin to finish the dropship version of this guy. There it is there. We'll come back in behind it with a little bit more sky tone and put a nice elevation together for us. So all that to say that I really sincerely thank you guys for hanging on here and being with me throughout the course of the afternoon. This has been a lot of fun to get this trilogy piece put together. And I think, Shadow, if you're still there, we're still planning to put this trilogy up on the website, the bookstore, right? Hopefully on our website. So that'd be kind of cool to get that squared away for us. So all that's going to take place once we get the finished piece tomorrow. And again, I really can't thank you enough for taking the time to kind of follow along here. And I always make this comment very clear, hopefully, and I hope it doesn't sound overwhelming or asking too much. But if you know people who want to tune in and watch me go through the process here of going through these sketch rendering elements and design, please pass the word along that I'm available on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays at 2 o'clock and so forth. And I might be changing that Wednesday time frame after I had a conversation yesterday with Shadow. Maybe better off to kind of cool back a little bit and keep it consistent at 2 o'clock. And so we'll keep you posted on that. But again, thank you so much for taking the time. If you have anything you want me to work on here, and boy, I got that note again here, Nemo. I'll take a look at the Discord and see what you're getting at as far as that cutaway is concerned. That'd be kind of fun to work on here. So thank you for your input. And again, so great to see you on board, Nemo, and I hope you had a great vacation. And again, if you have anything you want me to work on or subject matter you want to talk about or deal with, please feel free to drop me a an email at my email address at jim@drcontrast.com. It'd be really great to have you on board there and see some things that we can work with you on. And Brad, if you're still there, excellent. I think that's great too. Sort of document a meeting, no problem. Not a problem at all. So thanks again, gang. So take care of yourself, and thank you again for joining forces. Tune in tomorrow at 2 o'clock when we wrap this piece up, the dropship piece up, and we'll add that to the inventory. Nice stuff. So a lot of fun to put it together. Thank you for the time. And I will end my stream by this following comment, because I think it's absolutely the most important part of the whole presentation. And it's simply this: never forget to remember to dare to be great, because you are. Thanks very much, gang. Appreciate having you on board. Take care. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Thank you. We'll wrap up the Manticore.